Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Rally Podcast. I'm Mike White here with Sean Boyer and Logan Cornelius. We always Skype in, but a little fun fact is that Sean and I are about 30 miles apart now. I'm in town for the San Francisco tour stop, and I'm staying with a friend elsewhere. So it's kind of funny. We can't talk. We can't get together and talk. We have to still Skype.
We almost did one yesterday, but
Yeah.
timing didn't work out.
Yeah. I also don't know. Like, I did the one with Nora and Tyler when I'm just in the same room on the same camera, but I kind of want to do it where we sit across from each other with my two cameras, but I don't really know how to split up the overlay and all that, but we'll see. It would be funny if, I guess, say we called in Logan and we had Logan on Skype and then just us in two different seats, but in the same room. But anyway, came in a little early and went to Wednesday Night Spikes last night with the San Francisco crew. Shout out to Taylon Peterson for putting that together. They had league play, also had a bunch of people there for pickup, and we finally got Sean to go. Apparently Sean doesn't always like to attend, even though he's just 20 minutes away.
Yeah, I've been way out of the spike ball loop of training. I think that was the first time in over a year that I'd gone to like recreationally play. I just been on a major hiatus since I stopped playing with Sky, and it was fun. It's a ton of fun to get back in the action.
So it was really fun last night, and we played some spike volley for a long time. Maybe get into that a little more later. But I also want to say, Sean, the reason you went is because you're playing this weekend. First tournament since Summer Spike last year.
I know. I'm going to be playing with Chris Hornacek. I'm pretty excited. He'd asked me for Huntington and San Diego, and it just didn't pan out. But he's coming to my neck of the woods now, and we got a chance to hopefully make a deep run in this tourney.
Yeah, so what's your training been like this week? Just trying to remember what to do?
That, and I think I've played more this week than, like I said, in the whole last year. So just getting my touches in. I mean, it was definitely frustrating. I played Monday. It was frustrating at first, just like not being able to do some of the things I used to do, just simple touches. So I've been working off the rust, but I think come Saturday I'll be tip-top shape and ready to compete.
Yeah. And he's looking for a podium finish, so we'll see what happens. You know, Chris has 2 seconds and a third this year, so
I'm
can't
looking for a
disappoint
pitcher,
him.
Mike. I'm
Looking
looking
for
for
a
a pitcher.
pitcher. Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be playing if I wasn't. So I'm not saying we're favored or anything, but that's my goal.
Okay. That's the Sean Boyer we know and love sometimes. So anyway, gonna move forward, and the product that launched last week was the Spike Buoy. If you haven't seen him yet, you should, because Sean Boyer is on the box. He's the poster child of the Spike Buoy, so that's just a big reason to have it. You can frame it on your wall or something. So Sean,
This,
I heard about that photo shoot. I heard it wasn't very warm.
yeah, although we're smiling quite a bit, it was at some points forced smiles because we were down in Long Beach, California, and we got one of the not so good days of the year, and it was pretty cold having to get in the ocean at like 8 a.m. and then over in this pool that was equally freezing, but they turned out great. I got to credit Tom Goulet, our videographer guy, for putting it all together, and I think it turned out well.
And we talked about it before, but I've yet to play with the Spike Buoy. So you want to go over it again? Just did you like it? I like Nora was saying that she says it like just works as you would expect it would.
Yeah, I definitely liked it. It's not too much different than you think it would be. It's the set that floats on water, and so obviously gameplay is going to be slightly different in the sense that you can't move as quick. You have to have slightly different rules because if you just blast it really far, there's no chance for him to get it. We typically like to, if you're playing in a pool, it can't hit like dry land. It has to hit water for it to be a live ball. But what I've found is that it sort of levels the playing field even more so than other types of styles of play, because these really quick athletic guys or girls can't make these cuts that would normally beat other players. So it's a ton of fun. I think it's a fun, new, exciting way to play. And I'm excited to see what the community uses it with over the summer.
We're trying something out this Saturday. I'm pretty excited about it. Got some stuff, and we'll post some videos. But I'm going to try out some cool things like Buoy this weekend. But I'm put in the pool and it was fun, so I'm excited to try some different stuff out.
So the biggest thing right now that I've noticed is a lot of people don't know how to spell buoy. I see a lot of B-O-U-Y. That's the biggest thing. You should have made two versions. um, we actually wanted to try it out after the Atlanta tour stop on Sunday, we had some people go back to the hotel, and we're like, "Oh, we can go play in the pool," but it was an outdoor pool, and it was a 50-degree day in Atlanta, so it didn't happen. I was kind of sad. Thought maybe we could use the bathtub. It wasn't big enough.
Yeah, I think it would be great for these above ground pools that are like very circular and are not too big. I think that would be like ideal. I could see us 2025 having 100 of those pools out in a field, and it's the buoy tournament, nationals, spike ball, nationals, water.
Wow.
That's the only
That
time.
is good option.
Yeah. The only time I've ever played it was in an above ground pool, Ryan Fitzgerald, and we just played You Can't Hit It Out, and I thought it was great. And that's what the rules say that, or Spike Ball has said that. Just don't crush the ball. Just gotta place it nice and all that. So that's fun.
Yeah, and this actually kind of birthed out of us seeing the community members posting to social or wherever it may be of them cutting up a noodle and throwing it on the bottommost set, which was totally cool. And we loved to see, but we sort of fine-tuned it and added that anchor on the bottom, which really keeps the set in place. Otherwise, it's as when you're in water and you're splashing around, it could be added fun, but it's sort of hard to keep track of where the set's going to go.
Ryan Fitzgerald had a funny comment on Facebook. He said, "You made a rookie set, and now you have an anchor. Are you trying to tell me something?" Because he was on the rookies, he was on anchored LI. So maybe there's some messaging.
Yeah, the marketing team saw that, and we're kind of joking around like, we need him to join a new team so we know what to do next. Like, we're just following his lead.
He's our muse.
He's your guy. He knows what you want. Okay, so I'm actually going to transition to this now. Speaking of some casual fun games, Spike Volley. You missed out last night, but it was invented last Friday. I think we decided it is best 4-on-4. So it's 4-on-4 with 3 nets down the middle and sides. And you serve with a sky ball to the back row. And I'm saying I played Friday, I played a little bit Saturday, I played Sunday in Atlanta. And then I played last night, and we gotta say, it is very fun. What I like about it is it's just like volleyball, which I think is a fun sport, but I get to use my round net skills. So Sean dipped out and he didn't get to play, but I had a feeling he would have liked it.
How many touches does each side get? 3?
3, yeah.
And can one person hit it twice on the same possession?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
We found
Just like,
what's that?
just like volleyball, right?
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
volleyball, except you're hitting it on the 3 nets there.
Yeah.
And start with a sky ball, so you go for some rallies. And we kind of talked before about the 3-on-3, and the reason I like this a little better than 3-on-3 is with that 4th or even the 5th, I like how it's more crowded because I'm trying to have it be more of a casual, fun game. And with 3, you can still kind of hit it by people a lot. It's hard to have a kill shot with 4 and 5 players on D, especially with sides. And so there were a lot of rallies coming. But what you find most of the time is the streaks come from when you serve a ball and they just get confused on who's setting to who. Because you have like 3 people at the net. So like you're going to set behind you when the middle person like can't see. So you'll like get 5 points in a row because it's just like, no, you should set it. You should set it. But I thought it was really fun and kind of a testament to how the roundup players are is, and just competitive people in general, is like we've played this game for 2 minutes and everyone's already talking strategy. And we're just playing this game. So guys, check it out. Play Spike Volley. I'd recommend it. 3 nets in the middle, 4-on-4. Send a sky ball to the back. Oh, what was also great is because we were doing 5-on-5, but we had 13 people, so we just kept rotating in and out. So when you get this, you serve until you lose the point, and then you rotate like in volleyball. So we would just rotate in and out like PE class back in the day. Yeah.
You're basically playing volleyball on the ground.
Yep.
Without 360
Hey, isn't
degrees.
that all
So
we want? Just use our spike ball skills.
hey, I support it.
Yeah.
Keep things interesting. Keep them fresh.
So yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm excited. It looks and sounds fun.
Yeah. So when are we gonna play it, Logan? Oh, college nationals.
The college nationals,
Wait,
I'm in.
we should just change the club tournament to 6-on-6 spike volley.
That could go over real well.
All right.
I'll think.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Who has the real team chemistry?
That's a good point.
You know, do you know your club mates? Yeah. Okay. Um, also, remind I just looked in the camera. Shout out Taylor Peterson for the Golden Gate Round Net shirt. This is sick. I've been waiting a long time. I see the posts every Wednesday. I need to go to Wednesday night spikes. All right, so we're going to move on to a little more serious note, which happened at the Atlanta tour stop. Quick top four recap. Chiswick Showalter won, of course. Origin Vengeance took second. Third was Hilltop. Fourth was 717. There's a lot of streams of those games if you want to check them out on YouTube. I'll post in the description. But so the thing that was kind of talked about after was seeding, because there were two power pools, one of 7, one of 6. And when there are uneven power pools, there's kind of some issues that come with that. So in this case, it was Easily Dug went 4-1, right? Or maybe it was a pool of 6 and a pool of 5. So Easily Dug went 4-1. Chiswick Showalter went 5-1, and Schweppes went 5-1. So therefore, Schweppes and CS had the inherent advantage and got the 2 and 3 seed over Easily Dug, even though Easily Dug had a much better point diff. Kind of the issue with that happened at the Chicago Grand Slam last year between Point Loma and 2 guys, and we're just kind of it wasn't a big difference because they were the 4-5. We just kind of said it's an inherent problem with the system, because it also hurts some teams. You know, say your team goes 2 and 3 and they go 3 and 3. It's like, well, that's not fair if we had an extra game, or the opposite, 2 and 3 and 2 and 4. It's like we had an extra game and we lost. Like, that's not fair. They might have lost their extra game. It's just there's just some flaws. I think we're kind of saying after that sorting by, because this goes by wins, sorting by losses is probably better, but it's still kind of unfair. It's just kind of an unfair system. So what were your guys' initial thoughts when you heard about this disagreement?
Yeah, I experienced something like this a few weeks ago at a tournament where there's uneven pools, and like win percentage, I think it's just naturally you already have an edge over the teams that are in a similar range to you, and you can get ahead that way. So I'm not the biggest fan of, obviously I like having even pools, figuring that out. But I mean, win percentage, I think it can't happen. It's got to change. You start off with a disadvantage, and you could go almost per. Like, you drop one game, you were already at disadvantage to the other pool.
Yeah, I think that there definitely needs to be. We need to keep looking for the right solution here, because it really does matter which side of the bracket you're going to land on. If we have a really stacked left side, and you somehow slip there because of a flaw, if you will, within the bracket, then that's really disappointing, because you're probably going to get it out sooner. You're playing a much better team. So, yeah, I mean, I think all we can do is keep trying out new things and seeing where we go in the long run.
Yeah. So what was also kind of funny to me is that there's a pool of 6 and 5, right? Origin Vengeance went 5-0. Chiswick Showalter went 5-1. And you would think, right, if there's another team added to the pool, it technically is like the lowest seeded team would be that 12th team. So Origin Vengeance would probably beat them, right, and go 7-0. But Chiswick Showalter lost to the worst team in their pool, worst seeded team in their pool. So it's like you never know. Giving that free win isn't always fair, right? Anyone can beat anyone, so it's really tough. So that's why we've also been talking about the Swiss system. So I'm gonna give a quick explanation. Skylar Shibiyama does this up in his Seattle tournaments. The Swiss system is used mostly for chess, and some other stuff like that, some Scrabble, bridge. So what happens is everyone starts in the same bridge tournaments. Everyone starts in this all together. There are no pools. You either seed the first round or you randomly draw them. So after the first round, half the teams are 1-0, half the teams are 0-1. So all the 1-0 teams play, all the 0-1 teams play. After that, a quarter are 2-0, half are 1-1, a quarter are 0-2. Then you keep playing teams in the same record. So say there's, I don't know, I can't do the math right now, but I guess it's 16 teams. After 4 games, you'll have a team that is 4-0, most likely, because you'll have 2 teams that are 3-0 play each other, and the winner is 4-0. So at that point, you get kind of a true seed, and every time you play someone who's kind of at your skill level, instead of just playing all random teams and trying to get your general skill level by playing everyone. is supposedly a better system because every round you play someone who is supposed to be the same level as you, and we find out between those two who is better. So, and that's a thought, and there are still some kind of flaws with the buys, but it kind of eliminates pools because pools we have two groups of round robins, but we kind of just put them in there, and when you do the Swiss system, you see people against like a bunch of different teams that are their same level instead of just play all of these teams. And you only play half the teams. In Swiss, you would only play a certain amount, but it's also kind of determined by something else other than seeding. So, I don't know. That was a basic thing. Thoughts on that, Sean?
That was a good overview. I appreciated that.
I hope I'm not doing anything bad, Skylar or Ezra. I'm hoping I'm misinforming.
No, I think you nailed it. I like it. I want to see how it works in action because it's this weeding out process of, like you said, where you're continuing to play someone who is hopefully closer and closer and closer to your skill level, and it should flush out in theory to as accurate as possible of a hierarchy. My question would be, you say it eliminates pools, but will we still have, in some sense, like maybe the top 16, like we have a premier area category of the 16 and then a lower half, or like would we just do, how do you get into said top 16, bottom 16?
So I think ideally you do it for everyone. Because this is what happens at those chess tournaments that have 96 teams. Ideally, everyone plays everyone. And so you can't really do pools. Or think about like Summer Spike 2 years ago. We had like 9 pools of 10. Like, you don't really play a good estimate of people. And we also don't want to just throw everyone in a bracket. So instead you do this, and it just takes longer to do, but you still play teams at the same level every time. It might take a few to get to those nitty-gritty games, but so I think you can do it with all of the teams. Separating it again is tough because you don't want to exclude teams that could actually have gotten in there. You know, I don't think there's really a flaw in doing it. It's just kind of an extra games. You just take a little longer.
Yeah, I think to some degree there would need to be seeding involved because let's say we did this at a 64-team tournament. If you're having a random generation and that theoretical one seed is playing someone between 40 and 60, that's going to be, I guess it is the first round.
Well, that's just the first round, and then so after 3 or 4 rounds, most of the good teams are going to be 3-1. Most of the worst teams are going to be 1-3 or 0-4. So it'll work out eventually, and I know it might not be fun for those first couple, but it also helps you get better games later. You're playing teams around your skill level, which I know sometimes you can get better by playing better teams, but I think it's still fun to have good quality games against people of your skill level.
I think it also kind of takes away like the ability for an upset in pool player, like a team beating another team when they necessarily wouldn't have if there was the Swiss system, because you're taking away kind of the opportunity for a team who may have struggled early in pool play to play a team who's been doing well in pool play and kind of turn the tide on that, because you're only playing people who are, and especially like at the higher level of the sport, like may become more like not necessarily people playing who are your similar skill, more people who are playing as well as you are today.
Yeah. Right. So a big thing also comes down to so as I was thinking more about seeding in tournaments, one of the bigger overarching issue is pool play success does not always equal bracket play success. Sean can extremely attest to this with Chico's spikes. But so like that's a real thing to look at. Teams doing well in pool play doesn't mean you're going to win. Like the 1 seed is not always going to win. The 7 seed could win and all that stuff. If seeds, it's like a whole separate thing. We want better seeds because they should. Oh, maybe that's the thing. Maybe the way we do it now, the seeds don't matter. Maybe Swiss system will show it matters, right? Maybe it's a better way to seed it. You know, maybe now our current way of finding the seeds doesn't indicate bracket success. Maybe the seeds we find with Swiss system will. As far as what you were saying about Logan about getting better games for teams, or the upset potential, it also helps because say you go and you get a really nice big upset on a team in the Swiss system, like you'll still be filtered down. You know what I mean? Like you could win your first two, be reeling hot, but then you'd play like another really good team. It's like, oh, maybe they're not as good, so it kind of has inherent checks and balances to it, to where it really just filters it to the correct seeds.
I think you're right. I think it would lead to like I think the seeding would mirror bracket success more accurately.
Mm-hmm.
But what scares me is like you propose and we open it up to the 100+ teams that would show up to a tournament. So I think it could be used really well in like the premier pools.
Right.
But going beyond that, I could be wrong.
But that's one thing is we do limit to the power pools, but I know that's a nice advantage to being premier. But it also makes those teams kind of earn their seeds. If there are teams in advanced non-power pools that beat them, like, should you really be in that spot? So I think it's a better way to do open pools, because when we do open pools, you could have maybe one or two, or maybe three premier teams in your pool. With this, you win your first two against non-premier teams, then your last few could all be against premier teams, and it's like I said, it's those first two rounds kind of filter the teams, and then it gets to the nitty-gritty. So I think it would be actually even more helpful because we get more teams involved, more cross-play between the non-power and the power, which I think is something that we want. It's just kind of hard to do with the current pool system where it's just two in each. Like this weekend, we'd probably have like 5 pools of 8, 6 pools of 8, probably even more than that. So each pool would have 2 to 3 power pool teams, which isn't fair for either, because the power pool teams don't get to play against each other, which is kind of what we want. So, yeah.
I'll be interested to see when it's finally implemented. Like, I'm going to be interested to see how it works and like what it looks like. And I mean, it's certainly intriguing and it's different. So it changes up how we've been doing it. But I'll be really interested to see how it's done.
I do want to say one thing that came up is when there's uneven teams. Say this weekend there's 13 teams in the power pool. One team gets a bye every time. It's kind of how do you determine that, right? And what happens is for the first round, so you can see it either two ways. So imagine there are 13 teams like this weekend. You seed with the same differential. So the one team plays the 8 seed, the 2 seed plays the 9 seed. So like every match in that first round is a differential of 7 seeds. To kind of, because that's a lot more fair than 1 versus 16. Like an 8-9 upset is much more common than that. So therefore, in that case, the middle team, the 7 seed, would get the bye, which kind of seems fair. We agree they're probably in the middle, and a bye equals a win. But after that, you give it to the worst team, so it's kind of like a dummy win. And only a team can once get that dummy win, which kind of is kind of not fair because you're giving this worst team a win. But essentially, this is what we would be doing if we sorted by losses, because sorting by losses means you give a free win to all of the teams with one less team. So I'd rather give dummy wins to the team that we know is the worst currently than just to give them to half of the teams. So, little thing there.
Yeah, I know. One thing that was thrown out too is like if there is uneven pools like we have for Premier, then just like bringing a team up and like evening them out. And I think personally that's where I fall more so. And a lot of that maybe I haven't seen Swiss worked out or haven't experienced or played in it. So I'm probably just gearing towards what I know. But I mean, I also like the idea of bringing a team up because that also gives the opportunity for someone who's at least experienced success or done well to be able to perform in pool play with a lot of teams they normally wouldn't. So I tend to like that as an option if possible.
Yeah, my issue with that is the objectivity, because right now we do power pools based on Premier, which is an objective measure. And of course, like last week, it was Last Resort got breakout baller. They were probably the 14th or the 12th best team there. Was it? I keep messing up the numbers. They were the best non-power pool team there. But how do you determine that beforehand? I know you're talking about maybe points and stuff like that, but what if the team is really good and they have 0 points? because like we want to be fair, we want it to be the best team, but how do we determine it's the best team? So that's why I just kind of dislike the moving up or moving down, because we have these objective measures in place, and I'd like to kind of use them. It's not the days where Chico shows up after pool play and gets the 1 seed.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are objective ways to do it. I mean, you can look at a certain amount of you can take a certain amount of tournaments or events or things where you can make it more objective. Obviously, it's hard to make it ever truly objective when it's 2 teams, but I mean, that's another thing that encourages playing in tournaments, playing more, even small local tournaments. That way you can get results and forcing you have the opportunity to be moved up. It does that, and it kind of pushes, hey, get results, play, go to tournaments. Then if you have this opportunity, when you're not premier, maybe able to get to play with them.
Yeah, you could make it objective. It wouldn't be foolproof, right? There would be times where it's that team's better. Oh, but on the paper they are. But that happens with Premier too. There might be some teams that are better than Premier teams. But
I mean, Justin and I are ranked 14 right now, and we should be number 1. So
I mean, maybe if it was Swiss style, you could be 1.
Prove yourself. Yeah, I think there's gray area in both systems, but we're trying to eliminate as much gray area as possible, and Swiss might be the answer for that. So
I'm excited.
It'd be cool to try.
Yeah, whenever it's tried, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Well, I don't know. We'll try it. I just like to. I mean, it's just something, and I don't think it's. I was saying earlier, it's not a if it ain't broke, don't fix it situation, because technically the uneven pool situation kind of is broken. There's inherent unfairness in it, and I mean that happens with a lot of times when you seed, but I'm still just not a fan of the inherent unfairness for one of the pools. And something, you have to have randomness, you have to have subjectivity in a lot of things, but I don't know, I think it kind of is a little broken. And I do think that some solutions. So this is what I like Swiss is kind of a solution for the uneven pool situation, and it also just might be a good thing in general. It's like a two birds one stone situation.
Yeah, and if you look at Atlanta, there wasn't actually an upset until, was it the finals when
the quarters, the 5 seed beat the 4 seed. And the 6 seed beat the 3 seed in quarters. So in quarters, half of them were upsets.
In quarter, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna happen though.
I know.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen. Yeah. But what if those upsets, so the 4 seed and the 3 seed got upset? If seeding might have been better, those teams might have been the 3 and 4 seed.
Yeah, but at the end of I see what you're saying.
But it's more fair if everyone's jumbled. You know what I mean? If you just want them to be better, right? You really don't want upsets. You want it to be seeded well. If a tournament goes and there's no upsets, it's like, wow, those seeds were sick. Our system.
So you're
works.
saying that Virginia from March Madness should have been the 16th seed?
With the 16th seed? I don't want.
They lost to a 16 seed.
You must hate March Madness, because that tournament never.
Was it seeded well? I thought the idea is that March Madness isn't seeded perfectly.
That's what I'm getting at. Maybe the perfect system doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, I think their system probably isn't the best by any means. Their system is not even close to a good seeding system. It's just people make up seeds. I do not think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all. I mean, yeah, but the power ranking at least. So it would be different for March Madness if they used their thoughts to do a pool play. They just put the bracket in. And it's not even double elimination, it's single. You don't even get forgiveness in the bracket, in the seeds. So yes, I don't. I remember we were on some call last year, and Mike Eberhardt was talking about this, and he was talking about, we were talking about single versus double, and someone was like, so you don't like March Madness? He goes, no, I do not like March Madness at all, or the way they seed it. But I know it's exciting, but overall, we want fairness first. And we do the pool play system to find the right seeds. You don't want it to be negligible. You don't want it to just be a thing we do to warm up. You kind of want it to matter.
But I feel like no matter what, like, I don't know. I feel like no matter what, it comes down to the bracket play and how well. And if the best team still doesn't play well in pool play, then
yeah. So, well, my issue with that is that it's not all about like winning. You can't be like, hey, they lost in the quarters, so their seed didn't matter, right? Points matter. If you want to get pro, getting fourth and getting tied for fifth is a difference. So you getting that 3 seed versus that 4 seed is a difference. You know, points matter overall. So that's why I think seeding is especially important this year, even more than last year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Swiss.
I don't know.
It's going to be the answer.
Maybe Swiss. There might be some others. I'm just kind of excited at like the possibilities. Skylar Shibiyama has done it successfully in Seattle. We had trouble with it at camp, but that was not indicative of how it works. The reason camp didn't work is because we didn't have enough nets, and you can't move on until all the games are done. So if we don't have enough nets, that's double the time. So that was just, it was over before it started. With enough nets, it's like, so like that's not even a good case to look at because it just was not even set up properly. I'm not going to show up on Saturday in San Francisco and go, guys, we only have 2 nets. We can't play. That's not what's going to happen. So I don't know. I like this. I just kind of like talking about it because I think seeding is very interesting, especially in round net. As I've said, we've seen seeds work, seeds not work, and yeah. So, any closing thoughts, Logan, Sean?
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. I hope they do it out of San Francisco. I know there's talk of it, so
there's discussion.
I'm looking forward to playing and trying it out.
Oh, Sean's gonna be in there.
Back
and
in
they're
action.
like swimwear.
Gotta get ready for Summer Spike this year too.
Oh, he might. Does he have some news?
Yeah. It doesn't look like I'll be playing in Summer Spike. Due to the ESPN development, it's likely I'll be on the commentating side of things. So I won't have the opportunity to play, but I'll be out there talking about everyone else playing.
So that's pretty good. So I think Skylar Bowles might be looking for a partner.
He's on the market. Hit him up.
He has won Summer Spike 3 times. 3, right? Hit him up.
He knows the turf.
He's been around.
Have you ever lost Summer Spike?
Logan, all right, that's it.
All
right, and don't ask.
We're closing out.
That's it.
I literally forgot. I was trying to think back. I was like, I could just ask.
Dude, I forgot.
Yes.
I forgot on the podcast once.
That's
Current team Chiswick Showalter, known as Moist back then, debuted at Summer Spike and beat the longtime champs Chico Spikeball.
Yep.
And today they continue their reign.
Sorry to bring up that balloon.
Last week I posted a video of the history of Origin Vengeance coming soon. We got the history of Chico Spikes and history of Peter John Showalter. All right, I'm not too soon, but soon. It's on the docket.
With pictures and videos, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it look a little nicer, not just me sitting. I mean, but the thing is, I could just do it right here in 15 minutes if I don't add pictures and videos. What's more important? Probably the longevity of it. Probably the longevity of it. Make it look nice. But anyway, I thought that was pretty good. We'll see how that plays out. And also going back, guys, play spike volley. Get a spike buoy. It might not be warm enough yet, but should be good.
Get a buoy or make a friend who has one because it's a blast.
Hey, and I said I was giving away a buoy last week. We got 30 likes. We didn't get there. So, you know, if you're watching this, go back to the old one, toss it a like, and maybe you'll win a buoy. Although they're only $29.99, so it's not crazy, but you got it.
That's like 10 meals from McDonald's.
What meals are you getting at McDonald's?
You gotta weigh your options.
It's
on
2018.
I hardly ever eat McDonald's, but I did eat there for the first time in a long time before I played pickup the other day because I needed food.
You get like a McChicken, fries, and a drink for like $3.
My issue was I was having canned tuna for lunch, but I forgot to bring my can opener, and so I couldn't eat tuna. So I had to stop and get something before pickup so I wouldn't die.
Wow. Okay.
I lived my life.
That's a good story.
Nice. Okay. All right. So, guys, thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed. And we got some San Francisco coming up this weekend, so look out for the preview. The poll's already been posted. So check out for that. And also going to be streaming again. You might, if Sean's not on the finals, he'll be on the mic. So, get excited.
You can't. It's a win-win situation.
Spikeball.com/Facebook. Turn on those notifications. Watch those streams. We appreciate it. It'll be pretty cool. Give me a good tournament. Yeah.
Love streaming.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you next time. Peace.